So I was wondering how we might think about mechanisms in the manifestation in a way that aligns with truth.
There is nothing wrong with mechanisms. I mean, I'm an engineer, so that's
Sure.
what you do. You know, I'm going to cook a pizza for my son and my wife tonight, and I hope that when I switch
Right.
on
Yeah.
the oven, it's going to it's going to warm up. You know, there is nothing wrong with mechanism. What is wrong is to believe that we are mechanical.
Mm.
That's a problem. Uh, but mechanisms are part of the play. Things we have
Yeah.
to take into account.
Is it in that same vein, I think, getting very specific to the circumstance which this is coming up? Could we say that in the same way that there are systems which are mechanical, right? That our thinking can be mechanical. Perhaps this is a little too biology based, but
Yes,
there's
there are forms of thought that are mechanical and that are to some extent effectively replaced by artificial intelligence.
sure.
We all know that. Computer do many things better than us and much faster than we do. So yes, uh, everything that requires to fetch information from memory, you know, and process it and compare it with other, etc. Yes, all of that is mechanical. But there is one part which is not the part of love, the part of beauty, the part of inspiration, the part is, and that's what we call our humanity. But our humanity is not human, in fact. You know, it's our divinity, which is not mechanical. Our divinity, the divinity in each of us, is a non-mechanical part.
I think that resonates. I wanted to ask specifically, implicit, and I know we have a Reddit, we're not, there seems to be certain ways that the mind works
Mm-hmm.
and certain patterns, whether they're caused by the brain or not,
Yeah.
irrelevant. But there does seem to be a pretty substantive corpus of research that indicates that we, in any given moment, we construct our best representation of what is happening in the moment, of the raw information given based upon past experience. And so in a sense, everything that we experience in a fraction of a second, the mind gives it meaning, like flower or stand, or you know and so the way that we construe the world is, in a sense, derived from the information and past experience we've had. And in a sense, as I've been learning about this, in a way, it seems to strip. This is, I guess, this is the concern, I suppose, of, in a sense, it strips.
You see, you said something that you said that basically meaning is derived from past experience. Past experience remains as information, right? Because the life of it is dead. That which remains are the ashes, right? And the ashes are the information. And the light or the fire is in the meaning, the spark.
Right.
Right. So ashes, they can never burn. In other words, information in itself doesn't morph into meaning. That's the major mistake which is made by people who claim artificial intelligence is intelligent or is conscious or has access to meaning. No, because information never morphs into meaning.
Excellent. That was it. Thank you.
So we are the meaning, the information flows in us through thoughts, right? But every time it becomes meaningful, the information has disappeared. The transformation of information into meaning is a mystery of consciousness, of real intelligence. And that's the exact point, that this ability of Gödel's theorem, and Gödel's. If you take arithmetic, the law of the numbers, yes? There are a set of rules that define arithmetic, right? Define the addition of two numbers, and that each number has a successor. And there are a few rules, right? And if we apply these rules, we can make a multiplication, divisions, etc. All that stuff. It's elementary. Everybody knows that, right? And then you have the prime numbers, like 2, 3, 5, etc. Then it gets complicated. It gets difficult. And there are things that we can prove about that are true about these numbers. And we can prove them starting from the rules, which are called axioms, right? And these results, computers can find them, because computers, they can apply the rules and try to find a way to prove something. And if something can be proven in a finite number of steps, theoretically, a computer using the rule can explore all the possibilities with these rules that take a finite number of steps, because these possibilities also will be finite, because we have a finite number of rules, a finite number and a finite programs that can be designed to try to prove something. However, there are results that are true and that cannot be proven by the computer mechanically. You see, and that it's complicated, but it's remarkable because by simply processing information, I cannot prove that. But human beings can know that it is true. Why? Because we, human beings, we have access to meaning. You see? And the computer doesn't. And that's our our edge, if you will. And we know that to be true. And there is no way around that. There is no way around that there are things that cannot be proven using the rules, but that are nevertheless true. And we human beings can know that it is true. And the computer cannot know using the rules, you know? That's the beauty of it. We can know, the computer cannot know. Why? Because we have access to meaning and the computer doesn't have access to meaning. You can give that to the computer, the result, and tell the computer, prove it. It can't. But human being can know that it is true. That's a remarkable thing. So there is something about us which doesn't work like a computer, which is not mechanical. So for me, that's consciousness. That's that which understands that. So if we consider the human body, because we go further, to the extent that the human body and the human brain is a machine, which it is. It's a machine, right? And to the extent, for instance, that the brain works through neurons firing, right? It's a discrete process, the firings of the neurons. So all the operations that can be processed by the brain, like a computer. So to the extent that we consider this human body to be mechanical, then we cannot account for this ability it has to have access to meaning, to discover true statements in arithmetics that cannot be proven giving the usual set of axioms. And not only that, there are such statements, but in addition, we know that there is an infinity of such statements that the computer cannot prove.